Hey everybody, I'm Rob Freeman, and today we're answering the question, what does action over insurance coverage cost? Well, it really comes down to three factors: your business, your location, and the amount of insurance coverage that you need. And below this video is a link to an article that I wrote that goes into detail on these factors that will affect the cost of action over coverage. And it also provides some estimates for what you could expect to pay for commercial general liability insurance coverage in New York, either with an action over exclusion or without an action over exclusion. So as I mentioned, it really comes down to three factors, which are your business, your location, and the amount of insurance coverage that you need. So the first factor is your business. Just quickly, what type of work are you doing? Are you doing interior work where you don't have any height exposure or any danger from falling from heights? Or are you doing work outside of a building, such as facade work or roof work? Say you're installing solar panels or doing pointing work and you're using scaffolding. That's going to cause the cost of your insurance to go up. The second aspect of your business is the amount of business that you're doing, the amount of work that you're doing over the course of a year. If you're doing $1 million of business, then you'll pay less than you would if you're doing $10 million of business. Another factor affecting your business is the amount of subcontracted work that you do. Do you do all direct work with your own employees, or do you subcontract out a lot of your work? If you subcontract out a lot of your work, that takes another level of control away from the insurance carrier, and it puts some more effort into for you to make sure that you're managing the insurance of your subcontractors and to make sure that the indemnification is in place and that everything is the way it should be. So those are factors about your business. And the second factor I described is your location. Now, outside of New York City, getting action over coverage is really not an issue. It's easy to get and it's affordable. Whereas in New York City, you can expect to pay 5 to 10 times as much as anywhere else in the US to get action over coverage. And why is that? It's because of New York Labor Law 240 and 241, which are plaintiff-friendly laws that will put absolute liability on the building owner where the work's being done and the contractor. And that makes it really hard for contractors to get affordable general liability insurance with action over coverage that addresses this labor law. And the third factor I mentioned is the amount of insurance coverage that you need. If you only need a 1-2, meaning a 1 million per occurrence, 2 million aggregate, you'll pay less than you would if you needed a 2-4. If you need only a $1 million umbrella, you'll pay less than you would if you needed a $5 million umbrella. The other factor relating to the amount of insurance you have is the exclusions that you have in your insurance policy. And there are lots of exclusions that you can find in your insurance policy, especially if you're doing work in New York. So if you are okay with having an action over exclusion or a hammer clause or a contractual liability limitation or a total pollution exclusion or a designated work exclusion, any of these are going to limit the amount of insurance coverage that you have, and so they're going to drive the cost down. So anyway, below the video is a link to the article that goes into much more detail and provides estimates for what you can expect to pay for action over coverage. And if you have questions about your insurance, please feel free to schedule an appointment with me. I love answering your questions. And I hope this has been helpful. And thanks again, and have a great day.